Did the Cowboys deserve to be in this game?
Obviously, my team did not deserve to get thrown to the wolves on opening solo stage night at GOAT, at defending champs, at Tampa Bay. The more I think about this, the worse it gets, because obviously my team has missed the playoffs the last 2 years. Obviously, the opening night game at least pits a playoff team against the defending champ, at the very least, pits an arch rival. Like a couple of years ago, we had Green Bay, which had had a bad year the year before, but they were still a good team. They were at Chicago. It was an arch rivalry.
Yes,
Age-old, right?
Yes.
Longest rivalry in the sport.
Yes.
At least if you told me this was Dallas at Washington, which is obviously not going to happen because neither is very good, but if you told me that, I'd say, okay, I got you.
Right.
But I don't got this one because let's just think about my team. As Jenny just pointed out, not only did it go only 8-8 2 years ago and miss the playoffs, but it went 6-10 last year and finished third in one of the worst divisions in the history of the sport.
Yes.
Am I right about that?
Absolutely.
My defense last year was historically bad, certainly for the first 2/3 of the year. Finished just barely behind Houston for yards rushing allowed. Am I right?
Yep.
And I think my team's going to be better this year, but I don't know that they're going to be better. So in the end, what do we have here? We have my Cowboys on opening night just on reputation alone. As you often remind me, my team hasn't even played in an NFC championship game since the season I last wrote a Cowboy book about, which was the 1995 season. That's the last time they even made it to the NFC championship game, and obviously went on to win their last Super Bowl after the 95 year. What are we now, up to 20?
I was in my 20s.
You were in your 20s, once upon a time. Yeah, and it was a long time ago. So obviously, this is a reputation image game. This is an America's team game. This is truly, if you boil it all down, this is Brady versus Jerry, because it's just Jerry.
Right.
He is the face of my team. He is the most famous or infamous owner in the history of sports to me, beyond Steinbrenner, beyond Ted Turner, beyond anybody else you can sell.
But you know he'd have it no other way.
Okay, he would have it no other way. And this is Hard Knocks. This is the culmination of episode 5, which airs tonight on HBO, of Hard Knocks. It jettisons, it launches my Cowboys into opening night on Thursday night at the defending champs that are so good to me because they managed to bring everybody back and add a few new pieces, Giovanni Bernard, that I am not going to be surprised if Tampa goes 17-0. I know it's completely against all odds, but I will not be shocked if they go 17-0, and I might just pick them when we do our predictions to go 17-0 because that's how deep and good they are. My team is right now an 8-point underdog, which makes them the biggest underdog of the whole opening weekend. I think you pointed that out yesterday, but they went up a tick from 7.5 to 8. And the truth is, the God's truth is, if I hadn't loved this team for most of my life, since I was 10 years old, which was their first year, and if I were a betting man, I would bet a lot of money on the Bucs to cover 8 because I think this should be a 12-point spread. I think, I've already told you, I think it's going to be 35-10 because my team is in the wrong place at the wrong time. I still like my team to win the NFC least by default as the lesser of evils in the division. But it's unfair to throw them into this fire on opening night because they did nothing to earn the right to play on opening night. And if they deserve to be there, at least they could be competitive in this game. And frankly, unfortunately, I don't think they will be competitive. So it's completely unfair to my team to just hang an opening L on them that they finished third in their division. How do they belong in this game? They don't belong in it except for the owner and his reputation and the magnitude, the sea to shining sea fascination with the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe the ratings for opening Thursday night will be through the roof, at least for maybe 3 quarters, when people finally say, well, I've seen enough of this, right? Maybe a half, and go to bed. So the more I think about this, the worse it gets. It's just eating me. It's sticking in my craw, because I'm saying, how did we deserve to get embarrassed like this? Well, it's because of my owner and his, you know, the drone shot that went through the stars we saw on episode 2 of Hard Knocks. It was the showpiece, the centerpiece of Hard Knocks was that drone shot through the star, right? And that's the Cowboys. Yep. It's all glitz, it's all glitter, it's all country club, it's all state of the art, right?
Show no go.
Okay, you got me. I get it, but I think my team's good enough to win a division, but it's going to start with an L.
But you said it's the worst division in football.
It is.
So.
I agree. So I'm clinging to that right now. But the truth is, God's truth is that I have no idea how they wound up in this game except for ratings.
Yeah, exactly. Skip, I agree with everything you just said. Over the last 10 years, only 3 teams have played opening Thursday night after missing the playoff the previous year. The Cowboys have done it twice.
Okay.
There have been 3 teams. The Cowboys have done it twice.
Okay, and you can look at those other games, and like I said, the Green Bay at Chicago, I get that one.
Right. You're talking about the Acme Packers and the Bears. They go back almost 100 years.
They do.
So we get you. You're absolutely right, Skip. But on the Bucs schedule, you have the Rams, you have Buffalo, you have Indy. So they played these teams during the regular season. Wouldn't that have been a great matchup? The Buffalo Bills, a lot of people think them to make the AFC Championship game, possibly the Super Bowl. Okay. The Rams, that's a hot pick.
All those.
Yes.
All of them. I like them all.
But see,
as a football matchup, they're all better.
All better. Skip, here's the thing. You said you've been a Cowboy fan since 1960, but you got to think about it, Skip. They've been terrible more than they've been good. They were awful in the 60s, great in the 70s, terrible in the 80s, great in the 90s. And they've been the last 2.5 decades, they've been awful. It's simple as that. You've had 2 decades in which you've been good. The 70s and the 90s, 60s, 80s, 2010s, and you're off to the races again in the 2020s, being terrible.
Okay, you can't go terrible because 2014, 2016, 2018 weren't terrible.
So, hold on, Skip. You made the playoffs. You win 1 game one of those years because you got to realize Tony Romo only won 2 playoff games, and he was your quarterback. Well, Dak lost his first playoff game. But look at 2010, 2011, 2012.
Terrible.
2013.
No, I got it.
Awful.
Awful. Hard to watch.
2000. Yeah. How were you in the 2000s?
Which 2000?
The 2000, from 2000 to 2010. How were you?
I thought Bill Parcells was going to remedy that, but it never seemed to take off.
Skip, this is the problem that the Cowboys have. Not they don't have, but America have, is that normally we love winners. We do, Skip. But the Cowboys, and Jerry understands, I don't need to win. I'm the most valuable. I'm the most profitable franchise in all the world.
In all the world.
Even though I've missed the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yep.
Let one of those soccer teams miss one of their championships or miss the playoffs in 2 years in a row. People lose their mind. They fired everybody. Cowboys, it don't matter. Guess what? We still gonna do box office. And the league knows the Cowboys have them over a barrel because nobody is more generates ratings like the Cowboys, no matter who your quarterback is. It does not matter. You can't outdo them. And the league knows that. There is no way they're supposed to be in this ball game. No way. After missing the playoffs, you mentioned it, 8-8 and 6-10, and somehow they get the showcase game. Next to because that's a standalone, Skip. Yep. At least when you play the championship game, there's another game. Either you play the late game, you play the early game, but there's 2 games. This is like the Super Bowl. This is a standalone. This is a standalone game. And the Cowboys get to be in it. Why? Because they're the Cowboys, not because they've done anything to warrant it. Like I said, there are other teams on the Bucs schedule that's more deserving. The Rams, Buffalo, Indy is more deserving than the Cowboys. But the Cowboys got it because of the star, because they generate ratings. But still.
Heck, even if you remember, they threw the Bucs to New Orleans last year for the opener. Even if you put New Orleans with Jameis at quarterback back at the Bucs on opening night, I'd say, okay, I got it.
It's hard to see a scenario in which any team is not going to generate ratings for this game, for the simple fact it's the defending Super Bowl champ, Skip, the pageantry that goes along with it. They drop the banner. Everybody's in it. It's so, and plus, you get fans back. I'm not so sure, hell, you could put Jacksonville and Texans in this game, and they're still going to do ratings. Because it's a standalone, because it's opening day, because NFL football is back, because the fans are back in the stands. The Cowboys, Skip, you and I don't agree on a whole lot, but we agree on this 1,000%. We connected. The Cowboys didn't deserve to be in this game. And what I can't understand about you, a man that loves winners, he loves Michael Jordan because he won 6-0. He loves Tom Brady. You love the Cowboys.
So, I love Roger Staubach. I love Troy
Man,
Aikman.
Roger Staubach.
I love Emmitt Smith. I love Michael Irvin. Where do you want me to start and stop?
Roger Staubach been retired 40 years.
Okay.
Emmitt Smith's been retired 15 years, and Michael was retired 20 years.
I love Bob Lilly. I love Too Tall Jones. I love Randy White. I love Charlie Waters and Cliff Harris.
Yes.
How much farther do you want me to go?
That was the 70s when the Cowboys were good.
That's why I'm addicted. That's why I'm stuck in this impasse of I don't know how to get out of it, because I told you I was 10 years old. My uncle coached high school football in Dallas, Texas, invited me down on a weekend. I think I was in 4th grade. And he said, I want to take you out and show you this new team in town, because it was a rivalry between the Texans and the Cowboys. And the Texans finally moved up to Kansas City thanks to Lamar Hunt. And his son still runs the franchise, as you know. And he said, let's go out to the Cotton Bowl and watch this team. And it wasn't very good because it was an expansion team with a tiny little 5'9" quarterback named Eddie LeBaron. And I go out, and I love the St. Louis football Cardinals because I got them on TV in Oklahoma City. I was actually going to see my Cardinals, who beat the Cowboys that day. But what happened? It's what happened to millions of kids who have now grown up out here in L.A. When they were 5 years old, they looked at the TV and they saw the stars on the helmets. They saw the color that Tex Schramm specifically chose for television. It's called metallic blue, and it's easy on the eyes, and somehow it's addictive. It's almost like mind control. You see those uniforms and you're like, wow, I love that.
And that stadium, everybody, you was all open or you were all closed. But the Cowboys were unique. They had a hole in the, they had a sunroof.
That's after the Cotton Bowl, obviously, when they moved out to Texas Stadium.
You looking at it on TV, Skip, you like.
And what did we always say? It's so God could watch his Cowboys through the hole in the roof. I don't know why, but it was just a hole in the roof.
Exactly.
This is pre-Jerry world. Okay, so it got me, and I'm stuck in it because I do love to look at those uniforms, and I am very excited about opening night, but I'm also a realist. I'm a diehard fan, and I want to beat you with my Cowboys. That's what drives me.
As I listened at you talk, you're not upset that they're on television. You're upset that they're against the Bucs, and the Bucs going to put foots in them. Because, see, if you thought it was a more favorable matchup, you'd be all in for it. Yeah, my team deserved to be there. But because you know you're going to lose, you don't want them to get embarrassed. And you're going to get embarrassed when the whole world is watching. And I'm here for it.
Okay, I got you. But again, we don't deserve. I'm talking strictly as a fan who actually wants to win.
Yes.
I don't want to just watch. I want to win.
Exactly.
Because my pride's on the line, because I have to come in here and try to defend what's been a mess to you.
It's indefensible.
Okay? Well, it might not be this year once we get past opening day, although I'm starting to dread that second game.
Yeah, the Chargers
who are favored to beat the Washington team at Washington. I'm like, uh-oh, maybe there's 0-2 in our future, right?
It is.
Okay, so, but then after that, we've got a very easy schedule because we're going to win the next 3 at home and we'll be off to the races. We'll be just fine. But I got to weather the early storm that we did not deserve because, again, when you finish third in your division, you didn't do enough to have to get thrown into that fire on opening night when they have added Gio Bernard to all of their weapons and they're all back. And that Tryon kid they drafted at the bottom of the first round, he's going to be in the pass rush rotation now. To beef it up and give it more juice. And all of a sudden, Dak hasn't played in 333 days.
They got no Zach.
What's
Zach
that?
Martin.
Zach Martin, which is just huge. It's a big psychological loss to the line. I think Emmett's going to have a bounce-back year, but I'm not sure he's going to start bouncing back at Tampa against
you mean Zeke?
I mean Zeke. I'm sorry, Zeke. Because
you wish you had Emmett in the prime.
But you got that right. But At Tampa, they had simply the best run defense in pro football. And I think they have the best defensive coordinator in all of football in Todd Bowles. And they have a lot to prove because some people thought it was a fluke. Some people thought it was just because Mahomes' line was a wreck going into the Super Bowl. And that's how they kept him off balance and on his back much of the game. Okay, so they have a lot to prove. And Brady's just getting better and better at age 44. And I just think deep down, I believe Brady hates everything Dallas Cowboys. It's everything he doesn't want. It's the glitz and the glitter. It's all for show, and he's the steak. He's not the sizzle. He wants to go out and just execute them to death.
Because you got to realize, even though Brady has become a lot more open, he's become a lot more vocal since he's been in Tampa, his roots is we go play. Everything else will speak for itself. The owner doesn't do any talking. The head coach does the talking. The players don't give any bulletin board material. It's very matter of fact. You're very complimentary. Even though you believe they're bull jive on the other side, you become very complimentary. What you're saying behind closed doors, we're going to beat the brakes off that team. But publicly, and when the microphone, they have a very good team. They play hard. They got a lot of good players over there. They got Pro Bowl, Dak, and Zeke. They got an offensive line, a top 5 offensive line defensively. They got a new defensive coordinator who likes to get after the quarterback. You say all these things publicly, but deep down, and when you're in those meeting rooms, we're going to beat the brakes off this team.
Like embarrass this team.
Yes.
Brady wants to embarrass
When you try to send a message, Skip, early on, you want to send a message because what are we going to come in here and obviously, we're going to talk about this on Friday, but we get an opportunity to see the rest of the league play. And we go like, man, who looked really good? Man, they really sent a message that they're for real this year. Everybody tried to send that opening day message to let everybody else know we're a team to be reckoned with. Your team is going to send a message, we ain't making the playoffs again.
Oh, well, that's wrong. You're going to lose. You're going to lose again.
No.
Okay, so in the end, what is at least 50% of the appeal of my team? Why at the end of the year? You can book this for the top 5 game ratings, NFL game ratings will be Dallas Cowboy games. 50% of their appeal is people love to watch them lose.
Correct.
The worse, the better.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because they are the most loved and hated team, I think, in sports history. It used to be the Yankees, but I think Cowboys have transcended the Yankees, right?
I agree.
Okay, so you have a built-in box office appeal of people just, the narrative is, you either love them to death or hate them with all your might, right? So it's okay because both sides are going to come to watch for 2 very different reasons.
And the league doesn't care why you're watching as long as you're watching. It's like the Floyd-Mayweather fight, Skip. A lot of people just bought the fight because they want to say, I saw the fight in which Floyd lost. Floyd didn't care why you were buying it. He was going to do what he did, but guess what? 100 million, 150, 200, 250. That's all. That was the end of the day. That's what the numbers did. Doesn't care why you're watching me. I just need you to watch. And that's how the Cowboys are, Skip. Why you watch them? Oh, yeah. Come on, Cowboys, lose. All the memes that's going to be coming out there, Skip. Are y'all still them boys? We ain't them boys. All that's going to come. But guess what? We watching.
And my quarterback said the other day, and we're going to talk about these quotes later in the show, he said that in the end, he boils this game down to the NFL and the world needs this game, us at Tampa.
No, they don't.
Well, I get it for box office, but he's speaking as a competitor. He loves being on this stage on opening night. And he did what to earn that stage? Nothing. He wears a star on his helmet.
So let me guess, Skip. If they go out there and lose, let's just say they lose 30-10.
Okay.
Is the NFL like, man, we shouldn't have put the Cowboys on there. The season's going to be terrible. No. This game changes. This game's going to do ratings regardless. Like I said, it's a standalone. So the NFL didn't need the Cowboys at the Bucks. The NFL just needed football to come back and fans and butts in the seats. That's what the NFL needed, and they got that.
Well, unfortunately, on Thursday night, I'll be watching. But you know what? I'll be watching with one eye closed.
You'll be like
that, because that's what's going to happen. And maybe by the third quarter, I will have both my eyes closed. Because I'll be trying to figure out how can I go in there and defend.
Ain't nothing you can defend. All I know is this. Tom Brady's told us all season, that nagging knee of mine, I couldn't run. I could barely get out of bed. I had crutches, and somehow I made it to the field. He got that cleaned up. He doesn't have a knee sleeve on because they cut off the circulation between in his quad and his calf, and his hamstring wasn't firing. I don't want to hear none of that.
Okay, well, he wants all the pressure.
Yeah,
He's saying, I'm ready.
I need a 400-yard passing day, opening day. Well, I need 2 100-yard receivers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, or Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown. I need one of them. And I need a two-piece from Gronk.
Really?
Yep.
Scotty Miller might have 100 yards.
Hey, yep. I need Gronk to go Gronk on him. I need Gronk to go Gronk.
Tampa Bay 35, Dallas 10.
Yep.
Me sick.
Yep. Tampa a whole lot,
with
Dallas
eyes
a few.
closed.
That's what I like.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.